Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ramisha Ahmed. I have completed my HSSC from Aga Khan Higher Secondary School, Karachi, and in this year's AKUEB annual examination, I was able to secure the first position nationwide. Today, hence I am here with TDV World for an interview regarding my job. So let's get started with some questions earlier. The first one says, could you kindly share the narrative underlying the attainment of the top position in the HSSC level within the Aga Khan examination board? Additionally, I am curious for the primary factors that played a pivotal role in facilitating your success in Miss India. So, the narrative mainly revolves around a lot of hard work and then a lot of persistency in that hard work. Because staying persistent is what actually makes the hard work pay off. Otherwise, you get distracted easily and all that. And talking about the primary factors, again, I would say that keeping myself motivated to study was the most important thing. Keeping myself motivated to achieve my goal was the most important thing. Although it is very difficult to stay motivated all the time, and plus these years are already enough pressure on me. But still, although it was hard, I made sure or I tried my level best to keep myself motivated most of the time. And secondly, I would like to say that I was glad that I was a part of institute that strengthened me academically throughout my journey, throughout my HSSC. My college really helped me a lot. My teachers were really great, and I'm really grateful for them for always being there for me. So I didn't need to go towards resources out of my college to understand the concepts or everything, because if there was any query related to anything, I knew that I could easily go to my teachers and I can ask them. The second question we asked, did you use only recommended books for exam preparation? So no, I did not only use the recommended books, although I focused mainly on the recommended books. But again, I took help from some other resources, like if I have to mention, I would say the NXL papers, or the CIE papers, or the A-levels books. They were a great help. And then, of course, we have the internet, so a lot of practice papers are available here and there, everywhere. And I would suggest the same to the other students also, because we shouldn't limit your book knowledge to only certain books, because again in AKUEB everything is conceptual, so you should have enough exposure to different types of questions. In the end, you know very well how to cater all the questions that you come across in the examination. The third question is, was anyone there for your encouragement? So yes, of course, I'm glad. Alhamdulillah, I had my mother with me all along. She was always a big support. She is always a big support for me, and I cannot thank her enough if I have to say in some words. And secondly, I would like to mention some of my close family and some of my really close friends who are always there for me. So, of course, it's really soothing to know that there are always people that you can easily go to when you're feeling low or anything, or you just want to rant out. Because throughout these 2 years, there will be a lot of times when you are not feeling very high. So, there were always people for me, and I'm very grateful. So the fourth question is, tell us about your daily schedule. Also tell us about your co-curricular activities. So I was very active in all the co-curricular activities also. Although I had to sacrifice a lot of them in different reasons related to my studies, but again, one cannot always focus just on studies and not do other things, because all play and no work. Tell us about your daily schedule. Also tell us about your co-curricular activities. So I really focused a lot, or if I must say that to the extent I could, I focused on the co-curricular activities. I had been a member of Science Society in my first year, and then the president of Career Society at my college in my second year. So again, I tried my level best to keep a healthy balance between co-curricular activities and my study, because again, all work would make you feel very low in the end, or you cannot actually focus even in the end if you don't give yourself a good leisure time also. So in my free time, I used to do a lot of stuff, or to just lessen the stress on me, or to just do some exertion. I would go to places, I would call my friends, I would talk to them, or I would just watch some movies, I would watch some shows on the internet, and again, some co-curricular activities in my college also, like. So the fifth question is, Many students often express their struggle with maintaining their concentration when they initiate their study sessions. At the commencement of their studies, their minds tend to wander, making it challenging to concentrate effectively. This distraction prevents them from fully engaging with their academic material. Have you experienced a similar situation, and if so, how did you manage to overcome this obstacle? Furthermore, could you provide some guidance for fellow students on effective strategies to counteract this issue? So yeah, this is actually a very big and a very common issue also. Literally everyone faces that. I've also faced that a lot of times. But as I said before, that keeping myself motivated was the most important thing in my journey. So that is what I used to do. Although there were hard times also, I wasn't feeling very much studying, or I felt like even if I'm studying, I'm just not giving it my best, or I'm forgetting it afterwards. So again, what I used to do was I kept on focusing, I kept on doing it again and again. And if I felt like I cannot focus right now in a very in the perfect way, so I used to take some time off my studies. I used to go here and there, and I would spend some time outside, take a break, and then come back again to focus on my studies. Because again, the motivation thing, you have to keep yourself motivated, and you have to keep going. You cannot stop. So, yeah, and for the other students also, I would like to say the same thing, that if you think that you cannot focus right now, or if your mind is wandering, then take a break, come back again, and like I do, I personally cannot just confine some hours for studying. So what I do is I'll distribute my work throughout my day. So in the middle of my work, I would just go around and do something else. I would just go around and watch my phone. I would just go around and watch the drama I have to see. But again, side by side, I will be continuing my work on. So in that way, everything gets mixed up, and then it's not like I'm sitting in my room alone in the dark for 2 to 3 hours and then studying. So that gets pretty hectic. So I would like to say the same thing, that for everyone else who wants to follow this, they can again maintain a good balance between their studies and their leisure. Only then they'll be able to even reproduce their work in a very good way. The sixth question is, effectively comprehending and retaining concepts while preventing forgetfulness is a common concern among students. How do you manage to clarify intricate ideas and commit them to your memory without experiencing subsequent lapses? Furthermore, could you offer some advice to students to frequently grapple with forgetting previously memorized concepts or knowledge? First, most importantly, I would say that concentrate in your class, listen to your teachers very carefully, because the lecture actually helps a lot. It's like 50% of the memorization, 50% of the understanding is done in class, and then the rest 50% is done by yourself afterwards. So if you can focus on class in a very good way and understand all the concepts, and you make sure you understand them, because even if you don't, you can ask the teachers or anything, or you can go to the internet for support. To do that, make sure that before you are revising, make sure before you are going through the chapter yourself, you have enough concepts and all the things you have studied in class, you know them well. And then again, of course, the forgetfulness part comes, and for me, even I couldn't memorize things very effectively in the first go. So what I used to do was that I used to make sure that I start studying since the very beginning of the year. So in this way, I have maximum time to revise the chapters again and again. That only helped me in memorizing stuff in the end, because otherwise I personally don't have a very good memory so that I can memorize all that stuff in one go. So I would try to revise it as many times as possible, because reading it again and again, going through the things again and again, and then or writing them down again and again helped me get to know myself also. Helped me get to know that okay, now I'm sure कि इतना तो मैंने कर लिया है, इतना तो मुझे आ गया है. So that it also builds that confidence in you. So again, start from the very beginning and make sure that you have a lot of time for revision. The seventh question is, to achieve this remarkable result, what sacrifices did you find necessary to make along with it? So yeah, there were a lot of sacrifices, and again, they were necessary sacrifices, and alhamdulillah, they all paid off in the end for me. So that's what I would say to everyone else also, that do not hesitate in making those sacrifices. Although in that time, this feel like a very difficult thing to do, but again, you should keep your eyes on it. So just to mention, I would say that going to a lot of events, I sacrificed that, or attending a lot of family gatherings, just sitting in your room, just focusing in your books most of the time of your day, and not getting time to go out or not getting time to meet people. And then even in your college, not skipping classes at all, even if when you don't want to take classes, when I didn't want to take classes, or I was feeling very sleepy, or I was feeling very low, I was exhausted, but still I used to get myself keep going. Because only then I could have achieved. Otherwise, I couldn't have. The question number 8 says, did you take tuition or coaching classes for your examination preparation? Okay, so no, I actually did not take any kind of tuitions or coaching classes. As I earlier mentioned also, that I'm very grateful for the college I was a part of. My teachers were literally amazing. They were the best of their faculty, and they helped me a lot throughout my journey. So I didn't actually need for tuition and coaching. And again, I focused on the class lectures. So if you also focus on your class lectures, you don't need to go to other resources for help. So focusing on the class lectures and making sure that at the end of each lecture, all the concepts that were taught were clear. So that's what helped me. The ninth question is, did you always understand your school teacher's lecture? If no, then how did you understand the topic? I would try my level best to stay attentive in class, because I think that if you are attentive, you are going to grasp the concept in one way or the other during the notes. So I would make sure that I stay attentive all the time, and if there was something I couldn't understand, because of course there are times when you don't understand, and it is really okay. I used to go back to my teachers, I used to ask them questions, I used to ask them to teach me the things again. I used to don't let go. So I think that actually was very important. My persistence was very important in that, because if I could have let go of that topic again, I don't think so I could have understood it for any other. Because personally for me, I think what the life teacher teaches is what actually makes me grasp the concept very well. So I used to go back to my teachers again and again if I couldn't understand anything for the first time. And I used to ask questions again and again. I never hesitated in asking the questions, and I would say that to everyone else also, that no matter how your teacher is, no matter how your teacher responds, if they respond or not, just keep asking and never stop asking them the questions. And even if your teacher is not responding, you can go towards other teachers, or you can go towards other things. Today, it's life in the internet. So you have a lot of YouTube channels you can go through, you can pursue them, and they actually are proved to be very helpful. The next question is, during your time in college, did you primarily allocate your time to studies and the library, or were you also actively engaged in various clubs, societies, and other co-curriculums? Again, as I mentioned earlier, I had been a part of Science Society in my first year, and then the president of Career Society in my second year. So I tried my level best to maintain a healthy balance, but then again, that doesn't mean that I wasn't in class all the time. I actually was in class all the time. I used to make sure that I attend all my lectures and attend them actively, do all my work. But again, I didn't leave any chance that I got to participate in something that I could at that time. Of course, there were things I wasn't able to participate, I wasn't able to be a part of, although I really wanted to, because of my studies, so I had to sacrifice them. But then again, if you don't maintain a healthy balance between your leisure time and your studies, then you cannot even give your best to yourself. Next is question number 11. Did you use AKUEB past exam papers? To what extent past exam papers were affected? Yes, I took help from the past papers throughout the years. I used to do the past papers for every exam that happened throughout the year of my college, because past papers are a great help. Doing past papers actually tells you, or actually makes you understand what kind of questions does the board ask, and then what kind of answers does the board expect. Because it makes you understand that you don't actually need to write the book lines as it is and all that stuff. But if you just have a good concept and you are able to deliver that in a good way, it will be more than enough for you to get good marks. So, and again, the questions in the past papers, the type of questions in the past papers. So, doing the past papers helps a lot. And I did past papers a lot of, literally. Before my monthlies or before my midterms, I used to go through the past papers for each and every subject for all the years. I did them since 2012, so I used to do them again and again. And in the end, it was like I actually knew a lot of past paper questions. I actually remembered a lot of answers that the board had posted of some past paper questions. That actually helped a lot. Question number 12 asks, how did you prepare for the practical examination? So, for the practical examination, I would say that be attentive in class. I was attentive in my classes, in my practicals, when the teacher was explaining to me how to do the practical, how to handle the operators, or what requires in the practical, how to make out the data, or if there's anything that's not working, if your circuit is not joining in physics particularly, or if some chemical is not there in chemistry or in bio, you cannot see the slide properly, what do you have to do? So always the teachers are always giving these little tips and tricks here and there, and you need to focus on them actually. And again, stay attentive, know all the procedures very well, because in the end, practical examination is to a great extent about all handling. The teacher would firstly see how you handle the stuff, so that is important, and you can only get that if you are there and you attend all your practical classes and you do the things that you are told to do them. And again, make notes of all the extra stuff that the teacher tells, then all the practical stuff that you have to write in your notebook compulsorily. That's what I did also. And in the end, my practicals went really well, and because this is the whole reason they went good. Because even there were a question or two when I wasn't sure if I'm doing the correct thing. But again, I recalled all my concepts. I recalled what I had done in class, and in the end, I reached to a point where I knew, okay, मैंने इसको सही समझ लिया, and now I'm doing the right thing. Now, right. Next question is. Several students within the AKUEB may find themselves unable to achieve marks above the average threshold despite putting in substantial effort in dedicating themselves to their studies. What potential factors do you believe might contribute to this situation? So, I think that the potential factors would be not exposing yourself to a variety of questions, not doing practice for the questions, because even if you are just indulged in your books and you don't move towards practicing and solving the questions, then your indulgement would be of no help. आप जितना मर्जी बुक पे फोकस कर रहे हैं, but until and unless you are not actually solving and you are not actually putting all your efforts in action, you won't understand and you won't even get the confidence that okay, you know all. And again, that is the reason why a lot of people suffer on it. Secondly, I would say that reference books mean a lot. So do not just focus on your curriculum books, the books recommended by the board, but again, go towards other sources also. Take your teacher's notes or go towards the internet, find some practice papers over there, some practice notes over there, and take a look at them. Because it all exposes you to a lot of extra information. And again, extra information को बहुत ज़्यादा focus नहीं करना होता है, because again that will make you go away from your course outline. You have to stick to your course outline, but you have to make sure that you know a lot of other stuff also. You know how to answer questions, you know different types of questions, you know how to cater a question when you can't answer it. ये भी पता होना बहुत important है कि पेपर में अगर एक आंसर नहीं आ रहा है, तो what you have to do in that case. तब पेपर में क्या करना है, पेपर में क्या लिखना है, या if there is an MCQ, then how to solve that. So you can only learn all that stuff if you have done a lot of practice and if you have a lot of exposure for all the other questions around, except the one mentioned in the book. And I would suggest the students also the same thing, that move out from the books. Main focus हमेशा books पे ही रखना है, but sole focus books पे ही रखना है. So recommended. The next question is, what do you think how students should prepare for English, Urdu, Samiyat, and Pakistani? These are the compulsory subjects, and these subjects are equally important as the science subjects. The only difference is that there are not a lot of concepts in these subjects. Actually, they are like बिल्कुल भी I can say that बिल्कुल भी concept नहीं होते हैं. You have 10% होता है, 5% होते हैं. On the contrary, अगर आप in relation to science को देखो तो जिनमें 100% concept है, overall from start to end it's all about this. यहाँ पे वैसे नहीं होगा थोड़ा सा. यहाँ पे more part of memorization. So again, for Samiyat and Pakistani, you need to memorize a lot of stuff. You need to revise all the stuff again and again. So जैसे मैंने पहले कहा था, so start studying from the very beginning, because of course इनका भी course is a lot. It's not any less than the sciences. And for Urdu and English, for Urdu we can say that it's actually more than the sciences. So I would say that start practicing since the very beginning. For Urdu and for Pakistan studies, for Samiyat, make sure that you read the chapters again and again. because only then you'll be able to memorize that. वरना एक दफा करने के ऊपर भूल जाएगा, and अगर आपको 12 से नहीं करेंगे तो वो रिफ्रेश नहीं होगा रहता. Even if you remember, you won't be able to remember it in the paper because it will be there in the back of your mind somewhere, but then again you won't be able to put it on the paper. So start with preparation, start करें and revise it again and again and again. For Urdu, I would say read the chapters in the book thoroughly. Read them every time. I used to read them before every exam. जो भी एग्जाम में चैप्टर आ रहा होता था, I used to make sure that one night before I read it, no matter how long it takes, because that makes you understand the chapter well, and that makes you memorize a lot of stuff from the chapter as well. Because there are times when the questions are asking for contextual reference. So if you haven't read the chapter or you haven't gone through it thoroughly, then of course you won't remember instances to mention from the chapter. For English, I would say practice is the key. There is all in the entire English paper is unseen. So again, आपको बस practice करनी होती है. You need to make sure that your essay writing skills are good, they are improved. You need to make sure that your comprehension skills are good. Because in the end, English में कोई भी नई चीज नहीं आती है. जो भी होगा वो आपके कोर्स आउटलाइन के इनसाइड होगा. And even unseen होता है, but still it's not something new. It's all about comprehending. How you comprehend the question and how you write the question, how you answer the question. It's all about that in English. So again, make sure that you improve your vocabulary and make sure that you improve your sentence structures, and you know how to comprehend the question and how to answer them in a very good way. Then moving towards the next question, how did you push through your first time? Okay, so of course there are moments and there are times when you are feeling, when I felt a lot lazy and I felt I'm not able to focus very well on my studies. So in that time, of course, it was very hard, but again, I used to get myself motivated. Even if मुझसे नहीं भी पढ़ा जा रहा होगा, I would tell myself that I have to do this. There is no other option. I cannot choose not to do this because my goals are high, and to achieve them, I have to go through this first time. So I used to put all my emotions, put all my laziness, all my sleep aside, and sacrifice all that, and then I used to concentrate on the study. And again, then, उसके बीच में if I'm not in the mood to study or elsewise, I would take a break. I would go use my phone, or I would go watch some show on the TV. But then again, I would come back quickly and I would tell myself the same thing. I cannot afford this laziness because this is the time when I actually have to put in my level best, and it will, and just the belief also that it will pay off. So, I believe in myself, I believed in Allah that He will help me go through this time. So I put all my moods aside and I used to focus on my studies, telling myself that there is no other option. Then the next question is, AKUEB exam board focuses on understanding concepts. How did you prepare AKUEB syllabus and prepare for AKUEB examination? So they have their own course outline, the SLOs. I used to focus on the SLOs through my course SLO wise, using my recommended books or any other books that I would refer to outside of the recommended books. And again, I would say the main thing is listening to your lectures attentively and listening to your teachers, making notes attentively in class. Because when you are making notes, you're actually jotting down a lot of points. You're actually writing what you're listening, and that helps you memorize a lot of stuff. So I felt like whenever I made notes, in the end, at the end of the lecture, I used to memorize a lot of stuff around. Then in the end, I was able to solve at least some of the basic level questions, which then I did a lot of practice, and afterwards I made myself proficient enough that I'm able to do the hard level questions of that particular topic or of that SLO. So concepts are everything in AKUEB examination. Even आप अगर memorization को बहुत साल से करते हैं, and if you don't have good concepts only, even then you can score very well in your examination. And that's what's good about AKUEB also. तो वही बात है कि आपको बस अपने आप को recommended books को बार बार करने से confine नहीं रखना है, but again you have to do practice, you have to solve a lot of questions, and you have to make sure कि जो book में lines लिखी हैं आपको उन सबका मतलब पता है. You understand what the writer is actually trying to tell you. You understand कि how this can be asked in different ways. जब आप पढ़ रहे हो book, आपको पता हो कि इसका ये question ऐसे बन सकता है, इसका ये question ऐसे बन. So that is actually the key to understanding and implementing all this like that. The next question is, to what extent are you satisfied with AKUEB suggestions or feedback to the examination goal? I am actually very satisfied with AKUEB because I believe that where I am today, what achievement Allah has blessed me with, it was all because I became part of such an organization that is so dedicated towards providing their students the best possible education. And most importantly, I would like to mention their pattern of examinations and their course outline. They are all very concept based. On the contrary, if you see all the other boards around Pakistan, which are majorly focusing on rote learning. So AKUEB does not emphasize rote learning at all. You don't need to memorize a lot of stuff to do your paper. Even talking about compulsory subjects, people talking about other boards who use Samet and Pakistani English even there, it's all about memorization. But that's not the case in AKUEB. Even Pakistan Studies and Islamiyat is about understanding and then implementing your understanding. Using your understanding to solve different scenarios, to comprehend different scenarios. So that's what I really like about AKUEB, and yes, I am actually very much satisfied with AKUEB. And I can say that for a lot of people, a lot of class fellows or my batch fellows, I can say for them also that everyone I knew is to a great extent satisfied with the way AKUEB teaches and with the way AKUEB assesses their students. The next question is, what do you think are the major issues in the education system of Pakistan? Okay, so the major issues I would say that the lack of access to education for a lot of people. Then the poverty is there. People are doing childhood labor instead of going to school. They are going to work, and a lot of this is actually because of all the other people who are not letting them go to work, go to school, who are not letting them get the education. So the major issue we face in Pakistan in the education system today is lack of access of education for a lot of people. There are not good schools in the low-lying areas. There are not teachers over there. Even if there's a building, that building will literally be vanished. No one would go to that building or anything. So just a building is of no use when you don't have teachers or when you don't have a motivation to actually make your generation educated. Make your generation educated. So that is what is important and that is what we are lacking, and this is actually the reason why we are facing a lot of crisis in different aspects of success, because our youth is lacking education. Question is, if you were appointed as the Federal Education Minister of Pakistan, what specific reforms and changes would you envision implemented within the education system? So I would say the same thing, that I would try my best to give access to the students at least, so that even if they have to earn or even if they are living in poverty, they cannot afford to go to school, there is some means that they are able to attend school, they are able to get the education they actually deserve, get the education that is actually their right, given by the humanity, given by the country, given by the constitution, or even given by the religion. So, as if I were the federal minister, I would definitely make sure that all the low-lying areas, they at least have one or two government schools that where the fees actually so less that they can actually afford to go there, and it does not affect their financial stature also. So only in this way I feel like we can make progress. Otherwise, all the people who are poor, they actually cannot afford. They cannot afford to go out from that area, travel miles to send their children to school. They cannot even afford the fees of their children to go to school. The only solution is providing them education in their nearby areas, in their proximity. And I think that's what I would focus on. Next question is, what recommendations would you offer to enhance the education platform TDU World? TDU World is a very good platform, and I would like to mention that their future videos are of great help. They're always there providing the immediate information. There are fast paper solutions. Even immediate years, fast papers are not available officially, but the TDU World has them, and their teachers solve them, upload the keys, which are again of great help, because past papers are important, and then आपको जो जब पहले साल के past papers होते हैं वो तो बहुत ज़्यादा important होते हैं आपके लिए. So they actually are teaching you कि अच्छा इस साल की paper किस pattern पे बनेगा, कुछ change तो नहीं हुआ है, how is the examination process all going to be. And again, they also have their mock examinations. I took their mock examinations, which happened almost around 2 3 weeks before the paper, which are very helpful. Again, they get yourself to know, you get yourself to know a lot of questions, a lot of different kinds of questions, and even if इसमें इतना अच्छा बोल नहीं कर पाओ, but again, you have exposed yourself to a lot of variety of questions. Now you know कि अच्छा there is this new way also of solving the question. Because throughout the year आप college के papers दे रहे होते हो, and college के papers are made by the certain teacher. So at some point you're actually aware how the paper is gonna be. You're actually aware of the style the paper is gonna be of. But then again, आप कॉलेज थोड़ा सा बाहर निकले, आप अपनी शेल्फ थोड़ा सा बाहर निकल के कहीं और के पेपर सॉल्व करें, so then you actually realize कि there are different ways of. आप सिर्फ उन certain चीजों पे confined नहीं होता है. Because there are things, maybe some other teacher is focusing on some very unimportant subjects also, unimportant concepts, which you might have thought that they were unimportant, but actually they were. So, solving papers after that is made through platforms like the Word, and then again, they used to upload their key also, and they used to mark those papers also. So it actually helps you know where you are standing, how is your prep going on 3 weeks before the paper. So the question is answered here. I hope that my experience and my views about stuff would help you, my suggestions would help you. I'm hoping the best for all the upcoming students also. May you all shine and prosper, and may all your hard work suffer. And thank you TDB for having me for this interview. It's a great honor to be with them on this platform. Thank you so much.